Boston College and UMass are set to play again in basketball, and this is tremendous news for basketball in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
You are Locked On Boston College, your daily podcast on the Boston College Eagles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Locked On Boston College, your team every day. We are a daily Boston College podcast. You can find us 5 days a week on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. I'm your host, AJ Black of Eagle Insider. I've been covering Boston College for over a decade. If you want good analysis and insight, you are in the right place. On today's show, it is brought to you today by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Again, on today's show, we're talking a lot about basketball and scheduling in basketball because there's three things I really want to get into. The ACC schedule is here, and it's going to change the amount of games that Boston College plays in conference. I'll tell you why. That's a good thing on one hand, but on the other, I'm not sure that's that great. What two teams I would love to see take those two spots that are open? And the other piece of news, BC and UMass are set to play in basketball again. And let's kick it off with that. Now, you go on Twitter, you go on social media, and you find the corners of the internet that have tons of UMass fans. And for the last 8 years, they have complained and complained and complained about Boston College not playing them in basketball. And I will say right off the bat, I don't blame them because BC plays all these games, whether it's against Temple or South Florida or St. Louis or they played some West Coast teams at some point. And I asked why, they just seem kind of like dead games. BC and UMass are going to play again in basketball for the first time since 2014. That's 11 years. That is way too long for these two teams, the two marquee programs mostly in the state of Massachusetts, though Harvard might have something to say about that. Now, you go back, it has been BC hasn't won against UMass since 2010. That was the second year of Barack Obama's presidency. This is how long ago this goes. UMass won the last three. BC won the first three. They won the three before that. And so BC owns the series, but only by a little bit. Now, Frank Martin, the head coach of UMass, he seemed great. He seemed very excited about this. And I can get it. Like, I want to see Boston College and UMass play more than I want to see Boston College play some team that has no history against BC. I'm not the biggest fan of UMass fans. They can be a little much. Some of them are great, though. But I think this is good for basketball, just like Frank Martin said. Now, the piece that I am not a big fan of on this is that the game is going to be played on a Wednesday night in Springfield. Raise your hand if you want to travel on a Wednesday night to Springfield, Massachusetts to watch UMass and BC. That's me giving a big round thumbs down to this. Look, if you're going to play this game, it needs to be of one of three places. It needs to be at Conti Forum, it needs to be at UMass, or it needs to be at TD Garden. One of those three should happen. Obviously, home games are going to be big for the students. It's going to be a bigger event because it's two rivals. That's great. Like you have it at UMass. If you're going to have this be the UMass game, do it there. Boston is the home of a lot of UMass fans. It's the home of a lot of BC alumni. Having it at the Garden, which they did for many, many years, they hadn't had. When was the last time they did it? No, the last 3 out of the last 4 games they did were at the TD Garden. Do it there, not Springfield. I am not going to travel to Springfield. Springfield is not someplace I really feel like driving to on a work night. I'm guessing a lot of fans in Boston are going to say the same thing because it's about a 2-hour drive, I believe, from Boston to Springfield. It's like Springfield is basically not even Massachusetts. It's like way western Massachusetts, and it's not an easy drive. And the fact that it's on a weekday makes it a million times worse. So I'm not sure if they are doing this because they're doing it at a pavilion that has a bigger capacity. They're expecting a bigger crowd. I don't know what the reasoning is, why it's there. I just know it's not good. I don't care like that it's there. If UMass wanted a home game, give them the home game. Have them play it in Amherst. But the fact that it's in Springfield, like one of the least attractive cities in the state of Massachusetts, tells you everything. Now they're going to probably spin it around. It's the home of basketball and all that stuff. That's great. That's really great. I don't think anyone still wants to travel there, even though that's the home of that's one of the homes of the history of basketball. Does not matter to me. Play it at one of the three places I mentioned. Now, for BC, just this game in general, it's a good game for BC to have. I'm going to continue to say this. I am much more interested in playing historic rivals, that being, and we'll talk more about that later, and UMass counts than any other schools that they've been playing. These types of games get people up. These types of games are those games that you just cannot lose. And when we go back to that again, Earl Grant is in a big year for him, right? He's got to win. You know what would really, he's already lost a lot of fans. Many, many fans are just not really interested in what he has to say. Losing to UMass would be that like last nail in the coffin. You got to beat them. You can't add losing to UMass to your impressive resume that includes losing to Tarleton State, losing to Dartmouth, losing to Albany. Like this has more juice behind it. This is a rivalry game that means a lot to a lot of people. Some people don't care, and maybe you're a younger alumni and you just don't care about this. There's older alumni that do. They remember those games, the Commonwealth Classic, that's what it's called. And they want to see Boston College win those games. And you best believe the UMass fans want to win this game more than you do. They have an inferiority complex with Boston College as is. You see that in football, you see it all the time where they just think they're going to beat BC. Do not let that happen again. You've already lost 3 in a row. This is your chance to defeat the Minutemen. They're not that great of a team, but you aren't either. So win, win, win. This will be a big game for BC. This is a big game to circle on your schedule, and it's a Wednesday night. Woo! So, yeah, that was my thoughts on the Commonwealth Classic being back. And if you were wondering, it goes all the way back to 1905. The first game between BC and UMass was played in 1905 in Amherst, a game that UMass won 20-15. 20-15. And then they didn't play again for another 50 years. When they started playing, they played the next game at UMass, and BC won that one. But BC is leading the series 26-21. Let's make sure it doesn't get to 26-22. Okay. Now, in our second segment, the ACC is going to change the scheduling in basketball, and it's going to impact BC. It's an opportunity for them to win more games, but it's also an opportunity to screw things up again. I'll explain what I mean by that in just a moment. There's nothing like the atmosphere of an NBA playoff game. Every bucket, every defensive stop, every moment feels huge. It's electric in the arena, and with Game Time, you can be part of it without the stress of last-minute ticket hunting. Game Time makes it fast and easy to get playoff tickets where demand is sky high. Price on the app actually go down as tip-off gets closer, and their last-minute deals can save you up to 60%. Hey, are you a Knicks fan out there? Are you enjoying the schadenfreude of watching the Celtics fall all over their face? You want to get to MSG? Go use Game Time. They're going to give you up to 60% off last-minute deals, all in pricing, so you don't have any surprises. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. This is Locked On Boston College, your team every day. I'm your host, AJ Black. And if this is a first listen for you, if this is the first thing you turn on every morning, thank you so much. We are a daily Boston College podcast. We usually try to get this out in the morning. Today, unfortunately, I had to get it out in the afternoon. But 5 days a week, you can get your Boston College news here. And for all you everydayers, every day you listen to this show, you are the MVP. I say that every day because you are. You're the lifeblood of the show. And thank you. Now, on Wednesday, Boston College learned that their ACC schedule is going to change. The ACC announced that they're going down from 20 conference games to 18 conference games. Now, this goes back to more what they used to be like when before the pandemic. 20 conference games started around 2020 when COVID-19 hit, and they had to add it to make it a little bit more, make the scheduling a little bit more flexible. So the reason this is happening, this doesn't really impact BC all that much because I'll tell you in a second, is because the ACC has had a tendency to vulturize itself. I think vulturize might be the word I'm going for here, but they're vultures on themselves, as in, you know, you've seen those graphs on Twitter where it's like one team beats another team that beats another team, and it's like a circle. That's like ACC basketball every year. And as all the teams start to beat up each other, only a handful, much less than the SEC and Big Ten, end up making the tournament. So Commissioner Jim Phillips is trying to make the life easier by scheduling in, letting teams either schedule tougher teams to boost up their strength of schedule, or give them 2 wins that do not impact the rest of the conference. So for Boston College, this does mean some things. First of all, each team is going to play 2 teams, every year twice. They used to do it 3 times. It's now twice. They're going to play this year. Boston College is going to play Notre Dame twice. And the other team we do not know about yet. We don't know who it is. It's going to rotate. So it could be anybody. It could be Syracuse. It could be Stanford. But the other piece is the BC gets to miss 1 team. I bet you guys have some hope, but I would honestly hope it's not like a West Coast team. I hope it's a West Coast team because I just don't want to see them travel, or SMU. But so you have your 1 team, which is Notre Dame. You'll play them twice, home and away, every year. And then the other ones will rotate. I love that it's Notre Dame, honestly, because Notre Dame basketball, like if you look at the teams that they have been lining BC up with, it's Georgia Tech. I don't really care all that much about Georgia Tech. And Syracuse, no matter how bad Syracuse is, BC's seemingly just a step behind them all the time. So playing Notre Dame, a team you've had pretty decent success against, is not the worst thing in the world. Now, I like that, you know, you're going to have fewer teams, okay, that you're playing against. So for BC, you have those 2 choices I just mentioned. You can pick 2 teams that are going to help your strength of schedule, or you can just pick, you know, some scrub teams to beat on. I'll get to which teams I would like to see BC schedule a little bit, but I worry about this if BC goes the route of just picking up 2 bye games to play, which I feel like that is what they might do, because you know, it's the running joke. You all know it, that every year you schedule these games and you look at the schedule and you go, yeah, if BC plays well, they're going to win all those games. And then every single year there's a bye game that sneaks up and bites BC in the butt. Last year, it was Dartmouth. The year before, it was Albany. I mean, you can go back all through to Steve Donahue, to those WTF losses that they have, which has just become a staple of Boston College life. So you're going to have that loss. I feel like no matter what happens, it's just the routine now. My worry is if you add a couple more of those games, you're now going to have 2 of those losses. And if you head into ACC play with whatever small chance you have to make the tournament, which, yes, it's Boston College. Yes, that odds are going to be very, very small. Those kinds of losses will destroy you. You can't afford to do that. So if BC goes that route, they best darn win those games, because they cannot afford 2 losses or, you know, whatever. It's an opportunity to help you. Okay. Now, I don't expect BC to be battling for a tournament for a while. I mean, like, if you're looking at this year, they're going to have a miracle to get there. It just seems like after a year like they had last year, they just seem far away. That I'm being honest with you. So how they schedule it is up to them, because you could do that, or you can go the other route, which is what we're going to talk about in a moment, which is schedule interesting games that will get eyeballs. Because remember, the way that the ACC is doing some of um, their incentive based earnings is getting eyeballs on your program. So, playing teams that are interesting, that will help too. Now, in a moment, I want to talk about some teams I would love to see Boston College basketball use those 2 extra spots to schedule. Who are 2 teams that would get eyeballs on this game, on this program, and make things interesting even when the team may be struggling? I'll get into who those could be in just a moment. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your pair controller, subscribe or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles for EA Sports College 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. With 4K streaming, watch more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes from your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and more. And play high quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost of a console. Already have a console? A Fire TV Stick 4K device is more affordable and easier to travel with, allowing you to take you or your kids' games wherever you plug in. So, check it out. If you're a hardcore gamer, you can use this anywhere in your house. I have kids that love to watch their shows, and I want to get some gaming in. The 4K does it for me. So head to amazon.com/Fire TV locked on to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices including Fire TV Stick 4K second generation, Fire TV Stick 4K Max first and second generation, and Fire TV Cube third generation. We are wrapping things up here on Locked On Boston College, your team every day. And I want to tell you, if you're done with this episode, coming out tomorrow is the second Locked On ACC squad co-hosted by yours truly. We're talking about the Clemson Notre Dame scheduling and how that really does not help the ACC at all. And we talk a whole bunch more. So check that out. If you like me, I think you'll enjoy it. It's on Locked On ACC on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, the new scheduling is going to give more flexibility for teams to schedule. We already heard that St. John's is getting on some schedules. I think it was, who are they playing? Duke. There's some big time scheduling games going on. And while I don't really want to see Boston College use those 2 spots to schedule premium teams, because let's be frank, they're going to lose if they do that. Right now, they're not in any position to be playing more tough teams. They already get Duke and UNC. That's going to be tough enough. But there's still quality opponents that you can play that could get you wins, or even better, just people paying attention to your program. And I have been an advocate for one type of game that I think they should continue to push for, and that's games against the old Big East. Listen, if you've listened to this podcast, you know I was there when they were at the Big East. Those old school games against Georgetown and Providence, and the old school St. John's, things like that. Those were the games I loved watching, and there could be no better matchup than having those back on your schedule. And you can rotate. You can put those old Big East schools on your schedule. Play St. John's or Seton Hall or or Georgetown, and play them often. Play Providence often. We haven't played Providence in a long. We played them in the NIT, but you haven't had them on your regular season schedule in a while. And so, getting those games on your schedule will get people interested. If you played Boston College and Georgetown at Conti Forum, there would be a palpable buzz about that. And Georgetown's not that great. They're not a good program. But they're a Catholic school that has roots against BC. It would be a fun matchup for your school. So those would be some schools I would like. And you can do one and then do what I think is important, another local game. And try to find the local teams that would drum up interest. You could do Harvard. You could do BU, Northeastern, URI. those types of schools, I think, are going to be ones that would get interest. Merrimack, I think those are some more interesting local teams. Merrimack maybe a little bit less, but the other ones I'm saying, like Harvard and BC. I went there 2 years ago, and that was a fun home game. It was packed, a lot of people there, and there was a lot of interest with it. So when you play locally against good teams, if you play again, if you're just gonna pound it with just the low, like Holy Cross and like lower level teams, you're not going to get the interest. But if you play the Harvards, you play a Northeastern, you're going to get their alumni to come to your games too. That could bring some interest to your program. So those are the two ways I would love to see BC schedule. I also would not like to see BC schedule meaningless games against programs in Power Five programs from around the country that are not interesting. I don't care. Like, I don't want to see teams come here that are just not in that have no juice behind them. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be able to get some interest with these games or win. Like, it does not help if BC has like Mississippi State come in or Purdue. Purdue would kill them. But you know what I mean? Like, some of the bigger conference teams, they need to be able to pit scheduled teams that win. Now, if BC starts to win and they get a good program going, this is a conversation we would change. Because if BC starts to win, you want to position yourself for the tournament. That's when you can play SEC teams. That's when you can play Big Ten teams if you need to boost up your strength of schedule. You don't want to, if BC gets to the point where they're good again, and again, I know some people listening is laughing their butts off, but if it happens, you want to work the resume so that it helps out your program. And I bet you there's also fans of other programs in the ACC going, AJ, they need to just play good teams so that it helps us out, because that'll help their strength of schedule, and then it helps us, and it circles and circles. That's true too. But I'm going towards BC where they're at now. They just need as much help as they can get. Literally, what this team needs is help now. And to me, that's wins. So schedule a local team, schedule a Big East team. Boom, you've got what you're looking for. So thank you so much for listening. On tomorrow's show, I want to look at what I think is going to be the most important game, and really the most telling game for Boston College football next season. I'll explain what game that is and what we need to see out of Boston College to give us a better outlook of what this season could look like. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. My name is AJ Black. You can follow me on Twitter at AJBlack247 or follow the show at Locked On BC. I'm the editor of Eagle Insider. We've had tons of great information. Mitch Wolf of Eagle Insider did a 40,000 word treatise with film on the sack rate and how BC's pass pressure has helped and hurt without Donovan Azaraku, and what Tim Lewis has to do. You really got to check that out. It's really cool. I've also had some recruiting news up, but check that all out, and make sure that you're here tomorrow for another episode of Locked On Boston College, your team every day.